Hi y'all, this is Sarah Coggins from twopawsdesigns.com. Welcome to my first ever video tutorial. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a fish catnip toy. Start by visiting my website, again that's twopawsdesigns.com, and take a look at today's post. There you will find a PDF that you can download that includes today's tutorial and step-by-step instructions with photos, and is going to have this fish pattern that you're going to want to make this. After you've downloaded it, print it out, and let's get started. Start by cutting out the fish pattern so you have it ready to trace. A small section of fabric is all it needed. You'll see here I had a fat quarter. I cut down to a small segment, and I did something a little different than I did in the printed tutorial. What you want to do is just take your piece and fold it in half if you're using the same type of fabric, and then you can lay down your template and trace it one time. This is the kind of way to speed it up, but you can also do two pieces if you prefer. Now, trace around the outline of the fish template. After you've finished, you might want to mark a spot or two where you're considering leaving your opening. You could leave the opening at the tail or along the body. Personally, I chose to leave mine at the body. This is the spot where you don't want to sew because you want to be able to flip the fabric inside out when you create the toy. Now, get your straight pins and you want to pin all the way around the lines you've traced. You will be sewing on these lines. As you can see, I've sped it up a little bit here for you. I don't really pin quite that quickly. Okay, after everything is completely pinned, move all your excess away and let's get out the sewing machine and sew this up. Alright, place the fabric in your sewing machine and set it up so that you are lining your needle up with one of the lines you have drawn. Again, you want to sew exactly around these lines you have drawn all the way around your fish shape. This will give you the exact shape you desire. But you know, if it's a little off, don't stress it. It makes your toy unique and inventive to its own, and your cat's still going to love it. Okay, when you reach the end, remember to find that stopping point so that you don't go all the way around, because you've got to have enough space to flip this inside out. So we'll finish sewing there and remove our fabric and snip away at our loose threads. Now we're done with our sewing machine. We can set that aside, and you're going to want to get your scissors to cut away the excess threads. Now keep those fabric scissors handy and trim around the design. You're going to trim around 1/8 to 1/4 inch beyond where you've sewn. And I kind of like to clip these tails, these corners, a little bit of angle. It helps when you're bending it out later, once you flipped it inside out, to kind of get that shape a little better. And so we're going to trim all the way around this. Again, it does not have to be perfect. You're just trying to lose some excess fabric when you flip it. I go a little wider here to give myself a little more fabric when I'm stitching up that hole. And now we'll clip this last little bit of the tail off, just like so. Okay? Next, I like to clip spots like at the tail and then around the edges where those curves are. Reason being, this allows the fabric to take the shape better, the toy there to take the shape better when you flip it inside out in a minute. So speed this up a little bit. Again, I don't quite cut that quickly. And now let's turn this inside out. You can start by just using your fingers, and you want to push that fabric out through the hole that you left, so that you're starting to see the pattern. You know, depending on the size hole you left, I try to leave about 1 inch. This sometimes is a little easier than other times. This one's a little bit tight, so you could probably leave a slightly bigger hole if you wanted. The only thing with that is, remember, then you're going to be hand stitching up that slightly bigger hole later. So I try to keep it kind of on the small side. This is where I like to bring in a little tool. I love this little poking tool. Use this to just kind of poke out. There we go. Let's poke out those tail corners, and we're also going to do the same with the nose in a second. If you don't have one of these tools, you could use your scissors very carefully. You could also use like the eraser end of a pencil or a capped pin, a knitting needle. Just do it gently and press firmly, and you can press out those seams really nice too. Now you want to get out some catnip, and you see you've got a little bit there. watch it, it gets everywhere, but then your cat can just roll around it on your table later if it's like mine. Okay, let's take a little bit of catnip. We're going to grab about a pinch or two of catnip, open up your hole there. If you do it over your container, if you have a big container like me, it'll help if you have any spillage so it falls back in the container. And just poke in a little bit there, and yeah, let's put another pinch in maybe, and kind of work it in there. As you can see, a little falling back in the container, that's fine. It's going to kind of fall in one area. I like to kind of shake that toy out a little bit, kind of work it into the other sections of the toy, work it into the tail a little bit later so it spreads out a little bit better. That's entirely up to you. You put away the catnip, and let's get out some batting. We're going to spread this out a bit and loosen it up and just start putting small pieces in. I start filling the tail here because that's that smaller section. And again, a little tool can come in real handy here, or a pencil or a pen, helping you kind of push it down into the tail and work it in those ends. You can just keep putting in as much batting as you want until this toy gets to the stiffness you want. You know, you don't necessarily want it too limp, but you don't want it so thick that your cat can't bite into it. Then let's get a needle and thread, and we can stitch this up. You're going to want to take your thread and sew that opening that we left and we used when we were flipping this inside out and use to fill the toy. Carefully, I do a couple little hidden stitches there. You do want to make sure you do this very securely because, again, your cat's going to be playing with it and you don't want them getting it open. So let's stitch this little guy up, and we're going to go up and down all the way through and then to the other, and now we're back the other end. We've got it all the way down, and I'm going to finish it off and get ready to tie a knot here. What I like to do after I tie the knot is then run the needle back through some of the fabric there and pull it, got stuck on the tail, and get it off of here. Pull it kind of snug, and then clip it close to your toy, and it's going to kind of pop back in there as you loosen it back up, and it hides that loose end a bit for you. Massaging it out a bit, working out the batting, spreading it all in there, and feel the catnip move around there, and that's it. Your toy is complete. Thanks so much for tuning into this video tutorial showing you how to create a catnip fish toy for your cat. Please visit my website, twopawsdesigns.com, to see the full story behind this toy, and also to download the PDF that includes these directions written step by step with photos, and of course that fish sewing pattern that you're going to want to help make this toy quickly and easily. And if you check on the bottom right hand corner, you can also click to subscribe to my channel to find more information on these tutorials and other videos I share here periodically. Again, this is Sarah Coggins with Two Paws Designs. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great day.